What's up, guys? Welcome back to another MMA production. Today I'm going to be going over my picks and predictions for this weekend's card. It's going to be UFC Abu Dhabi. We're going to be looking at Muhammad Ankalaev taking on Bogdan Guskov, who's going to be taking that fight on short notice. He's supposed to be fighting Jan next week, but Khalil Roundtree was out with an injury, so Bogdan Guskov stepped up on short notice. Pretty exciting card this weekend. A lot of hot prospects, a lot of newcomers to the UFC. I've watched an absurd amount of UAE Warriors this weekend. Like non-stop, just UAE Warrior, UAE Warrior, UAE Warrior. I'm getting sick of it, and I'm kind of excited for another card at this point. But getting right into it, we got Abdul Hussein representing Finland versus taking on Cody Gibson. I think Abdul Hussein's probably going to find the finish within probably second round. I'm imagining either a TKO or a submission in the second round. I think Cody Gibson's gonna come out really hard, box heavy, try to wrestle. I think Hussein's gonna survive it, just break him down for the rest of the round, however long Cody Gibson's flurry lasts, and finish him in the second. Yeah. Hussein, for the record, represents Palestine in his fights. That's just a flag I found on Tapology. He lost to Makayev back in 2021. That's one of his losses. That's not bad at all. Makayev's a little bit overrated, don't get it twisted, but still, a loss to Makayev is not bad. In his last win, he showed some really slick boxing, got a disgusting hook for the finish, a lot of leg kicks, pretty solid grappler in every sense of the word, good takedowns, good positional control, all the good transitions, stuff like that. Solid boxing, as I said. Does a good job at getting out of the way of strikes, but sometimes I'm kind of thinking when I was watching this footage, if you just extended the combo a little bit more, maybe threw in a couple extra hooks or jabs as he was trying to back up, you might be able to catch him on something. But, I don't think Cody Gibson's going to be the guy to do it, if I'm being honest. What he does a lot, I don't do this often because I'm not good with this type of stuff, seeing what fighters do and their tendencies and stuff. But a lot of the times he'll get into range, get into the pocket with a couple punches, get into the clinch, knee up the middle, break. The pocket, clinch, knee, break, over and over again, multiple times per fight. Solid cage control, good pressure. He does a good job at when his opponent's hurt. He tries not to give him a chance. He gets on him really well. I do like that. It's not. I don't think he's the type to really sell a finish. This is Cody Gibson's second stint in the UFC. In his first one, he didn't even have bad losses. He lost to Aljo when he was undefeated, and Douglas Silva de Andrade when he was 21-1. So not bad losses in his first stint. Stacked out some wins outside the UFC. This is what I love about MMA. Randomly lost to Ray Borg in 2022, the guy that got flying armbarred by DJ. I love seeing losses like that on records because it's what the hell are you doing in that? I don't remember what organization it was. Losses in his current UFC run aren't even that bad, honestly. Brad Katona when he was 12-2, and look, I know we have new context about Brad Katona, but remember at the time where they were at, how they were viewed. Brad Katona was 12-2. He wasn't bad. It's just the UFC is a different level. Miles Johns, Blackshear, and Chinese guy. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Arkle Yang or something. Got hit with a disgusting right hand less than 39 seconds into the fight, so that was rough. Solid boxing, mixes it in well. Mixes his boxing and his grappling well, goes to the head and body pretty well. He went out super aggressive against Damon Blackshear, which is what I think he's going to do here. I do this every video where I talk about bantamweights, and I talk about they're good at grappling, they're good at boxing, they're bantamweights, they're going to be good at everything. Bantamweights aren't going to be expressly bad at anything. Even Merab, he's not a bad striker, sure. I mean, he dropped Corey. He's not a striker necessarily, but they're all going to be pretty well-rounded. So just assume that every time I talk about these guys. I feel like Gibson kind of ducks down when he throws a lot, and Blackshear was able to reverse him and get a Kimura off, but I think Hussein's just going to probably submit him round 2. I don't know. I don't think it's that much of a step up in competition for Hussein. So, yeah, I'm taking him by round 2. I don't know by what. Getting into our next fight. This is a low confidence pick for me. All right, I'm picking Mike Davis because I think he's a really big step up. Nurul Aliev, I don't think he's had easy comp in the UFC. Don't get it twisted. But I think Mike Davis is kind of a step up. Um, I think he's just athletic enough, tricky enough off his back and on the ground, has good enough boxing to maybe eke out a close decision. I think this is going to be a 29-28, probably split decision either way, I imagine. But yeah, Nurul Aliev fighting out of Tajikistan? No, Tajikistan. He's a grappler. You can tell that just by looking at him. It's weird to me because I know finishing isn't everything, but 11 wins and 9 finishes, man. What? Or no, sorry, 11 wins and 9 decisions. What? Like, you're telling me, like, out of all the fights you've had, you couldn't finish more than 2 guys? And he's not bad on the feet. They're TKOs, I think, but still, it's just weird to me. Hasn't had an easy run in the UFC. I think he's fought, like, Shamrock, and I say not an easy run in the UFC, then I say Shamrock. I need to plug in my laptop real quick. Professionalism right here. But, I don't know, man. He's had a pretty not easy run in the UFC, I don't think. Like, a lot of these guys, you'll see him. That's why I'm not that confident in this pick, is because you look at a guy like Mike Davis in my head, I'm like, oh, he's way better than the guys he's fought. And I'm like, he hasn't fought easy guys, though, so I don't know how much of a step up this is. Really good grappler, can take people down really well, control them. Did the Khabib, get him against the cage, control their legs with his legs, stuff like that. He'll posture up and throw ground and pound sometimes. When he's on the feet, man, I don't know if it was just the footage I was watching, because I couldn't find the Shamrock fight for some reason. He just swings big, meaty hooks in all the footage I've seen. I think it's mostly to connect. I think it's mostly they connect because of the takedown threat from him, but I don't think they would connect on a guy like Mike Davis, or Mike Davis might block him well. Kind of sprints in when he's throwing. He dips down a lot when he strikes, but I don't think, which might matter. I think a knee up the middle could be big here. Selecki was able to take him down and get some damage because of how Narula runs in. I think Narula ran in for something and Selecki just dipped down and took him down. When he's up, I don't remember who he was fighting, but he was up like 2 rounds on somebody. It might have been Selecki. He was up like 2 rounds. He is willing to stand and bang when he knows he's up. Sorry. I put a lot of stuff in my notes that I just don't even need to mention, and now I gotta sort through this. Alves did defend some takedowns, and Aliev did do a good job at avoiding his power. I think Mike Davis is better than Alves, but I think that means Mike Davis will be able to defend some takedowns. I think the power is there for him, although Aliev, like I said, does do a pretty good job at avoiding that type of stuff. He does not like being on the back foot. Obviously, he's a wrestler. He can't get those takedowns off the back foot. Getting into Mike Davis, he's got a random list of losses, man. Sadiq Youssef on Contender Series, who's a featherweight now, and he's a lightweight. Gilbert Burns in 2019. What? And then Fares ZM, which isn't a bad one. He has a win over Mason Jones, which is really good. I think that's a really solid win to have. Maybe a different version of Mason Jones, but still beating Mason Jones. Big win over Nathan Levy. Really, really big win over Nathan Levy. You love to see it. You love to see him beating Nathan Levy. Mysteriously, that one wasn't on Fight Pass. He's kind of nonchalant in his fights, and that's what worries me. He gets in there, he's kind of... And sometimes it kind of looks like he just lets things happen in a couple of his fights. But I think that's just how he is. Damn near lifted Ramirez over his head for a takedown in one of his fights. Good chin. Throws body head combos really well, which I think will be very effective against Aliev, if I'm being honest. Really athletic, good head movement and counter striking. Mean combo work. He was doing some weird stuff off his back against Ziam. And he's really good off his back, which I like to see here. I think that kind of submission threat and weird positioning might do good against Aliev. Yeah, I think Mike Davis is going to win. Low confidence pick. If Nurul Aliev wins, he wins through just kind of controlling him on the ground for 2.5 rounds probably of control total time. But I think Mike Davis could eke something out here, defend some takedowns, do some damage. It's going to be a split decision either way, I imagine, or 29-28 at the bare minimum. But yeah, Aliev looks good, but Mike Davis is a pretty big step up. Mike Davis is good, man. Getting into our next fight, we have. I overscrolled. I overscrolled again. We got Magomed Tukalov versus Brenson Hibero. Yeah, I'm taking Tukulov by TKO or KO eventually. I don't know what round, but I think it's going to happen. Yeah, Tukulov, he flies the Russian flag for his fights. That's just the flag that was on Tapology. 100% finish rate. He's a big dude. Even for light heavyweight, he's pretty big. Takes advantage of his range well and has some big power. Really, boom, like big, thunderous kind of leg kicks. I was noticing a lot he would catch body kicks and get sweeps off. Good takedown defense, trips and ground games. He fought a guy named Khabib Gaziev, which is just like that's like what you see those Instagram memes about like me to my wife when she doesn't let me name my kid Khabib Gaziev or something. But yeah, hit a disgusting knee up the middle on that guy. He's got big power and everything. The UFC hates Brenson Hibero, man. I'm gonna read out some of his fights, and also again context. A couple of them haven't aged that great, but he lost to Azamat by decision, which is impressive that he made it to a decision. I think it was a decision. Lost to Umar C when Umar C was at his peak, not bad. And Abdul Rahman Yakiayev, which he did well against Yakiayev until it hit the ground. Literally looks like the Giga Chad meme on his Tapology. I'll try to put up a picture of that. Yeah, he did not make it to a decision with Azamat. I'm an idiot. I have it there in my notes. He's gotten finished in the first round against back-to-back-to-back opponents. That's just rough, man. So Umar C wobbled him with a jab and then took him down. He's got BJJ. He's got good power. But I think Tukalov is just going to be too much. It's not going to be an easy debut for Tukalov. That's weird. There's a lot of people debuting here that I'm like, really? That's who they're debuting against? Like, rough debuts. Although Hibero has a split decision by, like, literally a single punch. Oh, my God. I don't have the name of the guy. Oh, they're Machado fights. They both fought Machado, I believe. And Hibero like won a split decision off of what I think was literally a single punch that conducted in round 2 that kind of wobbled the Machado. And Magomed like killed him. I don't remember what he hit him with, but he like murdered him basically. I think he dropped him multiple times. Yeah, I'm gonna take Magomed by a TKO KO eventually. Up next we got Axel Sola versus Ismail Bonfim. I'm gonna take Axel Sola by again another like TKO eventually. Not round 1, maybe not even like maybe second half of round 2. Axel Sola was like lying about his height against McKee. They said he was 6'2", and since then it's all been listed as 6 foot. He had that insane fight with Mason Jones. He's got really good cardio, questionable defense, which worries me a little bit here. He's a dog though. He's willing to throw down. Mason Jones hurt him bad early, and he was able to like cut him bad, and he was able to get up and get a couple rounds off. He fought, I think it was Imavov's brother. He got 10-8'd in the first round and managed to get a draw out of that. Really wide karate style, like really wide stance, got a karate kind of style. Really fast, like stupid fast. He does a good job at finding that naked left hand from southpaw. Really sharp technical striker, solid ground game. His last win against McKee was up a weight class, up at welterweight. He does a lot of damage. He just hurts people, cuts them open, bruises them. He was piecing McKee really bad, and then at one point, and then he went for a takedown for no reason, like a lot of these fighters do. Fighters are stupid, man. And he was losing that interaction. It's the stupid thing that fighters do. I got to make a video about low IQ fighter moves eventually, where they have him against the cage and they're holding him against the hips, even though he was outstriking him on the feet. He's holding him by the hips against the cage, just trying so hard to drag him away and get the takedown. McKee was winning that interaction because he was throwing like elbows and uppercuts and stuff like behind him. He did more damage to Axel Sola. I was giving him the momentum of that round at that point, even though he was the one getting controlled. I mean, it's ridiculous that what these fighters do, man. He dips his head a lot, especially when he's like moving to get into range. Like he'll like dip, duck, and weave to get into range. And Mason Jones is throwing a lot of knees up the middle off of that. McKee's stoppage was questionable a little bit early. Herb Dean was reffing. You know how it goes. But he was doing a really good job at catching Mason Jones when he was coming in, which isn't easy. Bonfim is definitely the worst of the two brothers. He even gets mogged by his brother. He lost to Chris Padilla after he missed weight, which is just you gotta go. He's a solid striker. He's got some good kicks. There's these giant like looping hooks. Nazim lost is aging worse and worse. Kind of wilts. Bonfim Ishmael does sometimes it kind of wilts a bit under like high pressure and damage. He leaves himself really open with combos and he crashes in. I don't have much to say about him. I should have put this earlier in the notes. I keep doing this. But it's like these default Brazilians who are like, oh yeah, they're a good kickboxer. They're good at BJJ. They don't have a style anyone would recognize. They look like every other default fighter from like UFC 5. And I'm sick of pretending they're special. And I sit here and I try to be like, are there any tendencies? I'm like, no, dude, they're just another kickboxer or BJJ guy. It's like the boxer. It's like the American boxer wrestlers. Then I'm supposed to act like, oh, this guy's super special because of X, Y, Z. It's like I don't have much to say. I'm making shit up at this point. BSD was able to rip like 6 body kicks on him in a row from that opposite stance. So Frenchie in an opposite stance, I think that's going to be there. I mean, BSD had like blood coming out of Ishmael's pores. He did survive the McKinney round 1 and got him in round 2 with a flying knee, but McKinney's, I think anyone in the top 5 would demolish McKinney if I'm being honest. Top 10, top 15, I think anyone would demolish McKinney at this point. Yeah, I just think Sola, better rounded, tougher, he's sharper. He'll break him down over probably a round and a half into a TKO. I think that body kick's going to be there for him, and it's going to be big. Getting into our next fight, we have Sam Patterson taking on Santiago Ponzinibbio. I have Sam Patterson winning by a KO, TKO eventually. I'm done trying to pick rounds. This is really hard to tell with these guys. Ponzinibbio kind of looks like a weirdly like beefed up Tony Ferguson. Anyway, I didn't rewatch the MVP fight for Sam Patterson. I'm not going to torment myself with that. There's no reason to do that. He's got a really solid jab, really good power. He avoids strikes well, but he does that tall guy thing where he kind of just away from strikes. You know what I mean? He just kind of leans back. He's got this super tall stance where he's like back straight up, chin right there, like every other tall guy. Really strong right hand, good counter striking, solid takedowns, good transitions. He lost to a guy at lightweight that looked like a midget next to him, some Israeli guy. He got put away bad, but I'm still taking him because I think he's just better than Ponzinibbio. Ponzinibbio had a good run at one point. He was actually the first guy to beat Sean Strickland, which is a crazy thing to see nowadays. Because, there's this weird narrative with Sean Strickland that it was like, before he won the belts, he was never that good. The man cleared most of the current middleweight division. People act like Strickland was bad when he won the belt. He was clearly like a top 5 contender during that entire period. Cannonier loss was BS. It's his fault for not... I digress. Different point. I watched this fight. I watched Santiago. I'm going on another rant, but I want to make this video funny. I watched Santiago Ponzinibbio's fight with D-Rod, and it straight up looks like something you'd see when you drive through like the wrong street in California. Like you're driving through like the Tower District in Fresno or something, and it's like him fighting with D-Rod. It's like, yeah, it's what I'd expect to see. Maybe a bit better technique here, but never been submitted. He's really mobile. He's jumping around, moving around a lot, kickboxing. He did do well against D-Rod, who's somehow getting a main event. God, I got to cover that as a main event next week. Jesus. He slides out of range well, but Patterson's really long, so like he'll like jump out of range like backwards. I think Patterson might be a bit too long for him to be able to do that. Yeah, Ponzinibbio is kind of a journeyman, kind of like this isn't a bad win on your resume. Maybe we look at a better fight for you next type of win. I think Patterson just has better technique and power at this point. I think he's going to break him down early, get a KO probably within a round and a half. Into our next fight, we got Dustin Jacoby fighting Muhammad Said. Jacoby really solid boxing. He's a kickboxer, but he's got really good boxing to go with it. Good head movement, good idea of range and like when to throw. Really long kickboxing career. He did lose to Pereira in that, which random losses again. Solid jab with the disgusting right hand. Has pretty good takedown defense. Mergliana wanted Julius Walker dead in his fight against Justin Jacoby. I don't know if Julius Walker pissed off Mergliana. That was a ridiculously bad stoppage, man. Puts in a lot of work in the clinch, a lot of knees and elbows. A little bit too willing to be on the back foot, I would say, like against Petrino. That worries me. Um, he's what I'd expect of like a light heavyweight, like top 15, top 20 light like gatekeeper type of dude. Like where he's not like bad, he's not like really good. He's got like solid, well-rounded fighter. He's got the power of a light heavyweight, maybe like faster than most of them. Not bad losses, some pretty good wins. His UFC losses in his current run are Khalil Roundtree, where I gave Dustin round 1 and 2. Khalil's an industry plant, but I that was ridiculous. I don't know how Khalil got that decision. And then he's the one that got Azamat to a decision, but then he also lost to Alonzo Menafield by decision, as well as Reyes KO'd him. So like I said, he's exactly where I'd expect like a ranked gatekeeper to be like. Like the people that make it past him are mostly like top 10, top 15 type of guys. Mohamed Saeed, really good gym. He lost to Kuniev in the amateurs, which is random. He flies the Russian flag in his fights. That's just the flag on Tapology. He went by a different name in a couple of his fights. I think it was Magomed Saidov. I think Magomed Saidov is like the Russian version of this name. I'm just noticing that. Mark Goddard, man, he's at like every UAE Warriors fight. I noticed that by this fight, I was like, man, Mark Goddard's just at like every UAE Warriors fight. It's so weird. Solid kickboxer, good combo work, solid counter striking. He's got good trips when he's in the clinch. Keeps his hands really low, which I don't think he should do against Jacoby here. He's got good lead kicks to the body and head, especially to end combos. Like he'll end a combo with a body or head kick. He does a good job at that. He doesn't put on pressure very often, so I think Jacoby's going to pressure him, beat him up maybe for like a round 3 TKO or a decision, because this is short notice for Saeed, and I think Jacoby, just more experienced, a lot of pressure. I think he'll be able to keep Saeed's power at bay, and I just think it's going to be an experience thing. This is a rough debut for Saeed. This is a rough one to be taken. This is a long video, and I need to get through these. Walter Walker taking on Thomas Peterson. Look at Thomas Peterson, man. You're a welterweight. You're 6'1". Or do something, man. That's a welterweight. There's welterweights that are 6'3", and I know they're skinny, but this guy could at least be a middleweight. Like, what are we doing, bro? Pisses me off. I'm taking Walter by a round 1 heel hook. Peterson, he's got solid wrestling, which does worry me a little bit. He's probably a bit better boxer on the feet than Walter Walker. So I'm a little bit worried for Walter here, but I think he's just going to get the round 1 heel hook. Walter, my notes are there's things that are not useful at all here. I'm talking about the clip of him with Guskov doing the but heel hook demon, really good jiu-jitsu, I think, for a UFC heavyweight. Really pretty good takedowns. Louis Sutherland hit him with a clean ass hook, and he just ate that shit. Solid power, honestly. He shot the goofiest takedown against Kennedy and Nzechukwu I've ever seen, but he got it eventually. He had a nasty. I think he had a pretty good transition on Nzechukwu. I saw some people saying, "Oh, Nzechukwu just fell into that, man." I think that was a good transition for him to get that heel hook. He had that sell against Boreski, but A, that was his debut. B, he was fat. He was just fat then, man. Like, way worse shape than you see him in modern fights, I'd say. And the media gave him that fight, and I scored that fight for him, too. So I think it was low-key a robbery for Boreski. But, you shouldn't make it close like that. He's not the greatest striker, but he's fighting another fat heavyweight, and I think it's just a recipe for another heel hook. Peterson, he's a solid wrestler. He's just another one of those heavyweight American wrestler boxer guys. He comes in, boring split decision with Guilherme Pat. I thought Pat was his first name. I just had Pat. It was boring decision with Guilherme Pat, where he kind of just held him against the cage after holding takedowns. He got a UD over Mays. through wrestling and laying on top of him. But Walter Walker subbed him, and this guy got KO'd by Gaziev in a round. I'm taking Walter Walker by round one heel hook. I think he's going to keep the streak up. I don't think Walter Walker's like all that, but against a guy like this, he's just going to get him, I think. Into our next fight, Abu, ba- Abu Bakar Vagayev takes on Saigid Izagakhmayev. Um, yeah, I couldn't find footage on these guys. I got a general idea. Both, I think Vagayev has an advantage in the striking, and maybe does a little bit more damage. But Saigid, I think he's got a bit of advantage in the grappling personally, just based on the fact that he has all those submission wins. I think he has more finishing potential on the ground. Vagayev trained with Chimaev. Saigid trained with Islam and Khabib, and I think Islam and Khabib have technically better wrestling than Hamzat in that gym. I have no confidence on this pick. I didn't even want to put it on Tapology so that I wouldn't get like a pick wrong. I'm gonna take Saigid by like a close decision. I couldn't find footage on these guys. I don't know where to look for it, but it is what it is. I think Saigid just has higher level comp, higher level fights. I'm taking him by a close decision. Up next, we got Rizvan Kuniev taking on Tyrell Fortune. God, footage was getting really hard to watch for this at this point, man. I don't really like. No, Tyrell Fortune, he's fun. He's a good boxer and everything, but he had kind of a lame fight with Marcin Tybura. I'm taking Kuniev by a decision. I think he's just going to kind of out-wrestle and outspeed Tyrell Fortune on the feet. Kuniev, as you can see there, popped for steroids in 2023. I'm not rewatching the Almeida fight. I'm not rewatching the Blades fight. I hate this guy. I hate heavyweight so much. And I know I had my issues with McMillan, but the difference is with McMillan being annoying is that's featherweight. A lot of them are entertaining. People hate Josh Hokett. Oh, he's so annoying. Oh my God, he's called Michelle Obama. Man, dude, he's an entertaining heavyweight. Go watch Kuniev's past few fights and tell me he's entertaining and tell me this is what we need at heavyweight. I hate Kuniev. I try to rewatch their past 3 fights. It was like a nightmare. He debuted against Blades. That's rough, but it was just a boring. Curtis Blades lays on him to a decision. I don't think Tyrell Fortune is capable of that. Kuniev, pretty capable wrestler with pretty fast striking. Fortune, really solid boxer. He's athletic for a heavyweight. He's got that American wrestling. I didn't want to watch footage of either of these guys. I did it. I suffered through it. I'm taking Kuniev by decision. I really don't like. I hate heavyweight, man. I really hate heavyweight. And then Cyril Gane. God, such a bad division, dude. I can't believe people used to like. Oh, actually, I don't want to. Some douchebag frat bro with like a rich dad that's probably working some sales job now. Dude, you see, I don't like flyweight or lightweight, bro. They're too small, bro. I'm trying to watch heavyweights and light heavyweights throw down. Flyweight wasn't successful when we had guys like this moving around, just blobbing around the octagon. People really used to say that heavyweight was better because it was bigger. I can't believe it, man. I don't get. It's insane. Boxing did so much damage to combat sports. Up next, we got. I can't look at Damien. Next, we got Magomed Zayunkov taking on Damien Rizbeki. I'm going to call Magomed Chanko because that's just easier here, and there's already like 10 Magomeds on this card. I really, 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 really wanted to pick Damien here because if he gets the win, I'm going to look smart. But this is just a rough debut for him. He's young at least. He's got a lot of time. Chonko, really good gym for the grappling, even though we don't see much of it. I don't think we have to worry about that. Good Muay Thai resume and history, and all the striking skills that come with being an accomplished Muay Thai artist. His Contender Series opponent has not won a fight since then. He's lost 2 in a row. So, I don't know, impressive performance. But, Dana White's Contender Series, that was the most active he's been in a fight. That was the most, output he's done. What I'm hoping is that higher level comp kind of brings that higher output out of him because that was a lot more entertaining than his other fights. Not that he's not entertaining, but most of this time he's kind of just patient. He picks his shots well. Really active with the leg kicks in Dana White's Contender Series. He did get dropped by a right hook from southpaw early on. Damien Rizbeki can use southpaw, so God, I want to pick Rubeski by like a KO with a right hook at a southpaw now, but that was one time and one drop, so I'm not actually gonna look into it. Um, yeah, he got dropped bad, but he's like a lot of these other Dagestani guys like Umar and them, where they get dropped or hurt really bad, and they're on that single leg like that. They're in there quick. Um, he was mixing his shots stupidly well. Sorry, my lighting for this is my Xbox is on right now, and it's just the lighting from this TV screen. Um, but he was teep spamming in that fight, man, on Contender Series. It was like genuinely like he was doing a really. I hope he's that level of activity. His other fights are entertaining, but his Contender Series fight, he was so active. Whenever he wasn't throwing, he was teeping, and that led him to have an insane mix of shots. Like a little bit, like 2/3 of the way through round two, he had. I'll put a screenshot up probably, but he had 49 hits to the head, 43 to the body, 27 to the legs. He mixes so well. He normally kind of breaks people down at a slower pace, but I think Damian's going to kind of push the pace on him here. Good takedown reversals. He almost reminds me of Fiziev. Maybe I'm just like lightweight Muay Thai guys, Fiziev. But it's like he hasn't got the strongest hands, I don't think, but his kicks are like just like strong. He's just really Muay Thai guy. It's kind of just standing straight up, just he's a Muay Thai guy. He's not going to be jumping around and weaving and dipping, ducking. But he kind of just does the lean back, kind of like Fiziev does. Damian, really fluid striker. It says orthodox there, but he's using southpaw in a few of his fights if he wants to. I think he kind of goes for that opposite stance a lot of the times, or the mirror stance. Really good ground game with good transitions, solid leg kicks, got a lot of knees up the middle, good takedown defense, mixes and kicks and hands very well. He's lanky, got a solid reach advantage here, and I think he's got good pressure, and he has really good, solid extended combinations. I think this is going to be a tough fight for Chanko, but I think he's going to eke out the decision. Damian's kind of young, not as high level experience, but I really wanted to pick him, man. I wouldn't be shocked if Damian wins this. And now that I said that, Magomed's going to get a round one KO somehow, because every time I hype up a guy that's probably going to lose, he ends up getting whooped. But no, Damian's good. I think this will be a fun fight at least. Kind of Chanko's kind of sit still, sit there, just walk you down style, while Damian's like jumping around, moving back and forth, left to right, switching stances and stuff. Up next, we got Islam Dulatov, absolutely brutally and viciously mogging Wellington Turman here. Yeah, I'm taking Dulatov by a round one KO. I think it's gonna be bad. I think he's gonna destroy Turman here. I like this. Probably doesn't need to be said, but because it's kind of like a niche point. But Islam, he's a model, and he probably makes a lot more off that and a lot comfier of a life as he does as a fighter. But man, the mentality and the type of person you got to be to have that modeling option and go fight, especially the way he does. I mean, like when I watch his footage, I can't believe this guy's a model. The way he fights is ridiculous. He's just on people. He's throwing like 20 punch combos in some of these fights. He damn near killed a Greek guy. That ref needs to be investigated. But he's just constantly throwing these brutal, vicious stuff. He leaves himself open, but he's so fast it barely matters. Like, he's in there to kill, man. He gets somebody hurt. He's literally throwing like a 20 punch combo at them to get him out of there. I can't believe he's like slipping over his own feet to get that finish. He's sick, man. He has this easy life option as a model, and he chooses to fight like that. I gotta respect it. I do laugh at his footage because it's just like he's doing his walkout and then he wins and he's in his corner. He's just like model. It's so funny because it seems so out of place. I'll throw up some screenshots of him against his opponents here. He's making me black pill. That some of his fits are utter bullshit. I'm gonna keep it real. Like maybe I'm just not fashionable and I don't know modeling like that. But man, he had some BS on, and I looked up his modeling gigs. He just has some bullshit on. Yeah, but no. Jokes aside, really long legs, really long reach. He's kind of got that meta build for welterweight of just being really long and lanky. Sometimes he kind of gets leg kicked and they kind of take him off his feet, but it's just because he's lanky and long, and he'll be like reaching over to try to kill somebody. Finds range really well, throws a lot of knees in close. Oh, and 11 of his 12 are in round one, which is insane. And he only lost his debut by decision. Stupidly fast. like dummy fast. And like I said, that Greek guy. This is another point that needs to be made. The ref and his corner, that Greek guy, totally failed him. He was dropped like a bunch of times. There's clearly no way he was winning that fight. The corner's got to throw in the towel eventually, man. But he can throw on. Dualtov can throw out some wicked output and combos if he needs to or wants to. Turman, he's not bad at striking. He's a solid grappler. He's good off his back. He's in Pereira's gym. He does that stupid thing that fighters do where they're like, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I can stay on my back and look for a triangle or an armbar or something. And then nothing happens and they get beat up and they lose control time because they're on their back. Coming off a 3-year layoff. He had good and hurt really bad, but still ended up getting rocked back, taken down, and submitted. I think Islam's just gonna. I think he's just a lot better. I think he's gonna get a round 1 finish. I wish Dualtov would be more active. He's sick. If Full Violence drops his merch, I'm buying it. But yeah, no, I think Dualtov's gonna blow through Turman here. Turman's another one of those guys that's like Brazilian guy with kickboxing. He's, what am I supposed to say about him? He's getting brutally, viciously mogged here, though, man. I mean, the memes that are gonna come out of this one are gonna be like ridiculous. Can you imagine losing to this guy in front of your girlfriend? Like, you get viciously knocked out, and then he's just on the cage, just like, oh, oof. Like, you get viciously knocked out or just styled on, and he's just on the cage, like, ugh. Oof. I digress. Getting into our next fight, we got Steve Erceg taking on Ramazan Timirov. Just to clarify something with Timirov, a lot of people are saying, like, oh, he's coming off a steroid. He had a steroid suspension. He did get suspended, but that's because he didn't tell the organization that does the drug testing that he was taking something for a heart condition. Maybe he was lying, but, like, I do know that's how they move. Like USADA and NC2A. If you're not telling them about, like, what you're taking, even if it's, like, a medication, if you don't tell them about it, you're going to get suspended or worse. So, I don't think that really matters, but, Erceg, he's a really well-rounded striker. He's got solid power and good grappling. He's like every other Australian. He's going to be well-rounded. Almost beat Pantoja. Kind of sold the fight with the takedown in round 5. If he didn't do that, he might have been the champ. He beat Alessandro Costa, which I do feel the need to point it out whenever somebody does it now, because that's an impressive win with how it's aging. I mean, it's like literally like every couple of months that win just ages a little bit better. He did go on a 3-fight skid after the Pantoja lost. He got knocked out by Kai Kara France pretty bad. But he also lost to Moreno. That's not bad either. KKF, Moreno, and Pantoja, those are your losses when you were in your like late 20s. That's not bad at all. Tim Elliott did take a round off him, but the last time Tim Elliott fought a rising guy like Ramazan Timirov, he submitted him, and it was Kai Asakura. But Timirov... he's got a really good karate style, solid hands, solid hand speed, good boxing technique, really big KO power for a flyweight. Not like Manel Kopp level, but he's got KO power. Probably I'd say it's close to like top 3 in the division as of right now. Kind of overthrows himself sometimes, like to the point where he's taking himself off his feet. But I think Timirov's probably going to give him some trouble in the first round, but I think Erceg is going to get the win, which is better technical striking. Probably going to be a 29-28. I don't know how good Timirov is. He's had 2 UFC fights against lower level comp than Erceg. Sure, he had good performances, but other than that, you're in Ryzen. So, on to our main event. Yeah, man. Khalil Roundtree shouldn't have been getting this fight in the first place, bro. It's really ridiculous. I don't understand how they were gonna give Roundtree Ankalaev. They're just really trying to push Roundtree. But Onk, he beat Pereira once when Pereira was at like the peak of his powers, pretty much. Although Pereira said he was sick, and then with the rematch, I'll clarify. Like Pereira said he was feeling 40% in this fight, and he lost like a 49-46 decision or whatever. Where he kind of just got held against the cage. But Pereira said he was sick in that fight, which I thought he was. I thought he looked like gray on the walkout, so I was immediately nervous. But then obviously the rematch happened and Pereira blew through him, which led to me telling my friends, yeah, man, Pereira is literally 60% better than the rest of the division, which I still stand by. Yeah. I think Ankalaev is probably the best light heavyweight in the world right now. Although he is Paulo Costa. I'm taking Magomed Ankalaev to get a KO eventually, probably in the championship rounds. I think he'll break down Gushkov and get a TKO. Guskov's taking this on short notice. He was training for a three round fight against Jan Blachowicz, which should have been the main event in the UFC Serbia. I get it. Uros Medic is Serbian, but they couldn't have given him like Leon Edwards or something. Well, I got to do this right now. We're getting D-Rod versus Uros Medic, number 14 versus number 15 for a main event. God, I would be so pissed if I was in Serbia. I'd be furious. I mean, seriously? Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov should have been a main event because their other fight was a draw. Whatever, but yeah, you know, Onk he's got pretty good kickboxing. Not as much the kicking anymore. He used to kick more, but he's got solid boxing, good power, good 1-2. He's big. He uses his range well. He's able to wrestle kind of, but he's not a wrestler really. He just kind of has it in his bag. He's really strong in like the clinch and just on the feet and on the ground. His only UFC losses are to Pereira. He has a draw with Jan Blachowicz over 5 rounds, and he has a fluke loss to Paul Craig. Yeah, I think Magomed's just better than Guskov, and Guskov's taking this on short notice. Obviously, Guskov has the first round finish potential. He had but a lot of power, good technique, 100% finish rate. But just I compared their Jan fights. I was at UFC 323, and I was like one of the only in my section of the audience. I was like the only person. I was like, I lean over to my dad. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely a draw because that was a 10-8 in round 2, and then they say draw, and I'm like the only one in the crowd cheering because I got it right. But yeah, Bogdan Guskov had a 3-round draw over an older Jan Blachowicz than Magomed Ankalaev did over a 5-round fight. And Guskov sold that finish bad. I think Ankalaev's just better. I think he's stronger, had better technique. I think he's not going to... I mean, Guskov couldn't KO him in round 1. I think that's the only chance Guskov has of winning this. He's not going to win the decision or win it in the championship rounds. He's got to go out there and try to finish him. Because on top of that, he's been training for a 3-round fight. I don't know if that really matters. I assume they kind of just treat every training camp like it's going to be 5 rounds. At least that's what I would do. But yeah, I'm going to take Magomed Ankalaev to win this fight. He's probably the best light heavyweight in the world right now, although he is a future Paulo Costa victim, being a Russian southpaw. Yeah, overall, pretty good card. I kind of wish we saw Khalil here so I could finally get to the end. Actually, I'm kind of glad Khalil's out, so that way Khalil Roundtree can fight, like, the winner of Navajo Sterling, Jan Blachowicz next and lose, and I can finally stop hearing about him. He fights like Arkham Batman, bro. Dude, oh my god, bro, he fights like people owe him money, man. Yeah, that really big finish over Anthony Smith in a robbery split decision over Dustin Jacoby. Man, whatever. Yeah, whatever. That's a rant for another time. But yeah, just unfortunate for Guskov to be taking this fight. Honestly, it's ballsy, but that's about it. If you guys made it this far, thank you. Remember to bet responsibly and don't use my picks and don't say these are my picks. These are just advice from a random on the internet. Made it this far. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.